Along with Sam Rutigliano, I'm Gary Gerald as we welcome you back to halftime in Cleveland. The Browns leading this one 28-3. And look at the last 5 possessions for the Browns here, Coach. And look at the field position where they started and they turned them into touchdowns. Of course, the last possession, just one play, and the half came. But the field position has to be one of the keys.
Well, it's actually 4 for 4 for touchdowns. Defense gave them the ball on a 30, gave them the ball on a 47. Clay Matthews made a tremendous interception, lateral to Carl Hairston, gave him the ball on a 20, and then that last stat, one play at the half, you can disregard that. So the last 4 times Cleveland has had the ball, they put touchdowns on the board. Now the defense did it, but Bernie Kosar, taking a look right now, he threw the strikes when they needed it. And it's important now, as Cincinnati gets the ball on the kickoff, they got to come back on this drive and try to get themselves back into this game.
Not spectacular numbers, but the 3 touchdown passes. There were 3 possessions before that graphic that resulted in nothing for the Browns. Then they came on strong. This kickoff sponsored by Budweiser, the king of beers. Cincinnati to receive, and we're underway here in this 3rd quarter. Starting back at the 2-yard line, trying to run it out on the far side. Bussey across the 20 to the 24-yard line, and finally dragged down. Now, how critical does this opening series of the second half become, Coach, when you're down 28-3? I guess that answers itself.
It's as critical as having surgery right now.
Yeah.
They got to take this ball and get down there. Can't worry about field goals. They've got to get back close in the 3rd quarter. They've got to enter the 4th quarter, maybe being down by 10 or 14. They need to play great defense, and they got to move the ball offensively.
Saw the stats for Esiason in the first half as he sets the ball club from the 24-yard line. They're explosive. They've proved that throughout the year. They can score points in bunches. Starts off with a completion over the middle of the 34-yard line, and pulling it in is Tim McGee. McGee, who played his high school football right here in Cleveland, went to college down in Tennessee. He's got about 100 family, friends, relatives in the stands today trying to urge him on.
And he's a little poorer today after this game because I'm sure he paid for all those tickets.
But it's tough to come by for this one because it was a sellout, too. They're down there in the bleacher section with all those barking dogs today. From the 34-yard line, Kinnebrew across the 35 out to almost the 38 or 39-yard line before he is pulled down. Mike Johnson coming up to help out on the tackle. You see Clay Matthews in there as well for Cleveland. There's Bob Golick. You know, yesterday it was interesting, Sam, out at the practice facility. We were looking around in the locker room. They took us down and we were talking to some different people. Golick, who is very much a free spirit and a character, as you well know from your years here as coach, has his locker decorated in the keeping with the holiday season. He's got a nativity scene, he's got wreaths up, he's got a sound system playing Christmas carols in there. It's quite a setup. Here's Kinnebrew working on the left side this time.
The thing that Cleveland wants Cincinnati to do is take their time and bleed that clocker as we take a look at the ticker.
New England just hammering the New York Jets, now 35-6. Once again keeping you current on scores.
Last week the Jets were down 27-0 at the half to Miami on Monday night.
Houston struggling, and that's a big game as far as Cleveland and their fans are concerned. Houston, Pittsburgh, and Cleveland all tied coming in today. Pittsburgh playing a later game. Here's Kinnebrew getting just enough for the first down yardage on a 3rd down carry, cranking straight ahead. We were mentioning, talking about Golick and his locker. Our crew had an opportunity to shoot some tape down there. Take a look here. You see the nativity set and the wreaths, right. And those are speakers up there alongside the nativity. And he's got Christmas music just booming through the locker room.
And Bob Golick comes from Cleveland, went to Notre Dame. He was picked up on waivers from the New England Patriots, 2nd-round draft choice. But he's a spirited player, but he's also a spirited individual.
He had his combat boots and his camouflage pants on during the practice session yesterday in the cold in Cleveland. From the 46-yard line, Jennings in motion. Esiason with a pump fake. Gets it away, going deep. Here's Martin. He dives and he gets the score.
And that's exactly what they needed. They just now put a tremendous impact, right, an injection of an antibiotic right into their offense. They needed that big play to get back in the game, and they got it from Mike Martin, from Boomer Esiason.
54 yards, only the 12th reception this year from Martin, his 2nd touchdown, and he dives to the end zone to get it.
And the key to the play was Boomer looked to his right, and maybe Hanford Dixon was looking into the backfield, because if he was looking into the backfield, that gave Martin an opportunity to get the edge. Take a look at it right now. It's an excellent pass thrown right over the corner man's head, and it's clearly Martin's got him beat, and then he does a good job of extending himself right into the end zone. We might have a ball game right now before this extra point is 28-10.
Breech puts it right through the middle, and just like that, opening the third quarter with an emphatic and a spectacular drive, 54 yards on the touchdown to Martin. It's a 28-10 ball game now in Cleveland. Well, a 54-yard touchdown strike, Esiason to Martin. That's the first time that a Cincinnati Bengals wide receiver has caught a touchdown pass against the Cleveland Browns since 1981. And the Bengals now trying to get back in it, kicking off, and this is Glenn Young from the 7-yard line. Powering straight ahead and trying to make something happen there as he came back. He was finally dragged down by Leo Barker, and we'll see where they end up spotting the ball. He ends up being pulled down about the 21-yard line. He had progress well out across the 25 at one point.
Take a look at Boomer Esiason now. He's going to look to his right. Watch him look to his right, and it's at that moment maybe Dixon right now might be peeking in the backfield because Martin really beats him. He gets hit late, but he still gets the ball off. It's the one thing that Cleveland had to prevent, give Cincinnati any kind of life, and they've given them life early in the third quarter.
They used less than 3 minutes to get on the board here to start the second half. Fontenot in the backfield for Kosar and the Browns, and there's Mack. He was effective in the first half, and he's effective here, dragging defenders. Now progress takes him out to the 30 before they throw him back to the 25. The overzealousness of the Bengal defense being challenged by the partisan crowd here. David Fulcher making the tackle.
David Fulcher is the kind of a strong safety that plays like a linebacker. Take a look at Fulcher now. 33 is going to be on defense. Now watch Mack as he searches to try to find a hole. Good block by Newsome. Now watch 33 move his feet, continue to look. There's Crumrise 69 giving him some help, and you got another good down and distance situation for Kosar. It's second down and less than 5.
Good day for Mack with 73 yards, 22 of them coming on a touchdown run. Long count with second down. There's our hands to Mack again. This time not much working as he gets perhaps a yard or so straight ahead.
On the other flip side of this, Cincinnati cannot allow Cleveland to go down, kick a field goal, or score a touchdown, because it'll deflate what they're trying to do right now. It's a third down, less than 1. They've got to stop Cleveland on this drive and get the ball back, because the biggest factor right now for Cincinnati is the clock. They can move the ball. They've just hurt themselves in the first half. Cleveland did a great job, but they hurt themselves more so.
As the Browns come up to the line of scrimmage, it is Bahr and back, the two setbacks. Brennan in the lineup, split wide to the right. Slaughter is wide left. 3rd and 1. On the ground, straight ahead, struggling. Mack, he's going. I don't know if he got there or not. It's going to be close. I don't think he didn't get it.
He didn't get it because they stopped him. The spot is beyond the 35-yard line. They stopped him inside the 35-yard line. That's a big play by Cincinnati's defense. Maybe the biggest play of this game thus far.
Hammerstein was in there to help out on the tackle. See if they're going to bring the chains in or whether or not they can just eyeball it and make a decision.
It's not even close, Gary. I don't think they made it. And there's no reason for Cleveland to go for it right now. The best thing for them to do is punt. They've got a good lead. Defense is playing very well. Get the ball to Cincinnati. But it was a good exchange for Cincinnati. Held Cleveland on 3 downs. Get the ball back now with less than 10 minutes to go.
Mike Martin drops back to anticipate the punt for the Bengals. Lee Johnson, who first effort today, as you can see, went only 29 yards. The barefoot kicker. Well, both punters barefooters in this game today. And here's Martin, who scored a minute ago on that 54-yard reception from Boomer Esiason. Johnson gets off a beauty. Crowd loves it. Oh, look at this punt. It's going all the way to the end zone. Oh, he hammered that one. 66 yards, and here's his reaction on the sideline. Getting quite a salute from this crowd here. They've seen the Browns suffer in the punting department this season, and Lee Johnson's happy right now. This is their 3rd punter of the year, and he just delivered a big one. So the Bengals, trailing by 18, will have the ball on the 20 in a moment. 28-10 ball game here in Cleveland with Cleveland on top. And Sam Rutigliano, you go back to that first half interception by Clay Matthews. It could be a 21-17 ball game because of that 14-point swing.
That's right. It was a 14-point turnaround. They go in and score, and the score right now is 21-17. But Cincinnati's playing good defense. They got a chance. This game is not over yet.
Well, we saw the Bengals respond on that opening series of the third quarter, going 54 yards. Esiason, and he's going to the air to start things off on this series, completing a pass on the far sideline and being popped down at the 30 is Stanford Jennings. 8:50 to play here, third quarter. Still a lot of time. Jennings, Mr. Reliable, according to Sam White, pulled down by Frank Minifield that time. White said that this had been a good week of preparation. That with all the bumps and bruises, he didn't have the guys do any hitting at all this week. No pads. And of course, there's been a lot of criticism, a lot of you would expect in a season that's been 4-8, and the disappointment that goes along with that record, despite all the close calls. But he thought that his club was well prepared coming into this one today. Kinnebrew. Nothing working at all on the left side this time. Clay Matthews spearheading the charge. Also Carl Hairston, a combination that teamed up on that big interception we spoke of a moment ago.
And what Cincinnati's looking for when they give the ball to the big guy, Kinnebrew, on first down, they're looking for a 5-yard gain as we look at the 10-yard ticker. They don't want Esiason involved now in 2nd and 10 down throws, because Cleveland is now going to just lay their ears back and put pressure on him, and his throws are going to be tight.
From the 30-yard line, 28-10, Cleveland leading Cincinnati, 7:45 to go. There's a good look at the big guy, Kinnebrew, all 258 or 60 pounds there. Esiason being pressured, has to hurry. McGee might have had a chance, but boy, was the rush on that time. Matthews was leading the blitz coming from the left side with Hairston, and Boomer had to hurry that one.
That wasn't a blitz. They attacked Esiason. They brought Clay Matthews, and they brought Chris Rockins, 37. See, he's got his back turned because it's a play-action pass. The moment he sets up, there's Chris Rockins right in his face now. Now, that caused the errant throw, and that's better than a sack, because usually those result in touchdowns instead of just sacks.
The Matthew Maniacs are in attendance here at Cleveland, along with a lot of other partisan fans of the Browns. Boy, the pressure was on the Browns, just, having lost those 2 ball games coming in, and there were a lot of grumblings going on in this city the last week. Right now they're up by 18. 4 defensive backs. Esiason to the sideline, trying to go to the tight end Holman, who was pretty deep downfield, and the ball was overthrown just a little bit.
He had him, but he was being double covered. When 82 came out of the break, he was wide open, but Esiason just threw the ball a little too high. It tailed on him, and he had good enough protection to make that play.
Well, coming off on the near side, he had a good look at Dave Pazzulli. Boomer talking with Sam White.
Take a look at Carl Hairston. He's just below Pazzulli, number 78. Pazzulli's 72. Now he's going to the inside. That's Montoya just knocking him, and Platos knocking him back to the outside.
Oh, the cube is hit hard. McNeil at the 26-yard line popped down on that punt. So 7:15, 7:16 to go here after a 47-yarder in the third quarter. It's still Cleveland by 18. In the back row, in the spotlight there, you see Paul Brown, the man who founded the Bengals back in 1968, and of course a longtime head coach here in Cleveland. From 46 to 62, a span that saw his teams win 7 titles here in Cleveland before he ventured south to Cincinnati.
But he won all his games on the sideline, not sitting in the loge.
Here's Kosar going to the air for Cleveland now, and this one over the outstretched arms of Ernest Biner coming out of the backfield.
And what they're doing is, see, they have Ernest Biner out as a wide receiver, and he's isolated on 37, Bobby Jackson, the strong safety, and Ernest Biner is going to win that one-on-one matchup. He's done it all day long, except this time he ran a deep pattern, and Bernie just overthrew him.
Biner comes into the game today with 45 receptions, big number, one of the AFC leaders.
And Cleveland should not abandon their running game, because it was good for them in the first half.
Mack and Biner right behind Bernie Kosar right now, with Brennan split wide to the right, Slaughter wide left. Kosar under pressure, throwing to the left side. That's Slaughter. Nice reception at the 46-yard line. Protected the ball and stayed in bounds at the same time.
Well, Lewis Billups, the corner, didn't play the ball. He played the man. He had excellent coverage. Bernie really had to throw that ball off balance, and Billups, number 24, the Cincinnati cornerback, should have played the ball and not the man. Take a look at it right now. You see Bernie. Watch Bernie now. He's getting some pressure by Fulcher, 33. Now watch Billups, number 24. Play the ball. Get your hand in front and knock the ball down. You're not paid to make tackles down there. You're paid to make plays on the ball.
Billups, the second-year player out of Alabama that time, surrendering some yardage. Slaughter on the Browns. Will come up with a first down now at the 46. Mack wanted to pop outside to the right. He has more room. Head down to the 42-yard line. That was Bahr out there in front of him trying to put the block on Ray Horton. Horton trying to battle him off, and the collision of helmets finally knocked him down. 13-yard pickup.
You see what helped there was everybody on Cincinnati now thought he was going to go up off tackle or bounce it back to the inside. But you saw a guy of Mack's size, how he had the burst to accelerate, get to the outside, and he ran right by number 90, Emmanuel King, the left outside linebacker of Cincinnati.
And with that carry, as you saw, 91 yards rushing on the afternoon now for Mack. Newsome in the slot on the left side. Brennan wide to the right as Newsome starts in motion. Kosar with a little scramble move. Completes the pass. No, it's incomplete at the 41-yard line. They were somewhat shielded from our angle. Emmanuel King was over there with the coverage, but the official right on top of it being questioned by Newsome. But no reception.
They're putting a little bit more pressure on the middle of the pocket. I'm surprised that Cleveland's not running the ball more on first down because they're having a great deal of success.
In case you joined us late, Kosar had 3 first-half touchdown passes.
Now take a look at him right now. You see, he is running out of the pocket. He needs to set his feet and stay there. He's not getting that much pressure, and because he threw the ball sidearm, he didn't have control of it, and you just can't throw strikes unless you're throwing with good rhythm and you got your feet planted underneath you.
We have to assume that this delay means that the folks in the replay booth are taking another look. Now, that is just an assumption on our part.
See, Bernie now is moving around in the pocket. There's absolutely no reason for him to move around. And I'll tell you something right now. That is a catch. And the official, number 37, I believe, is making a mistake.
That's Burl Toller, number 37, who was taking a look there, and they are reviewing this play.
See, Ozzie got both feet and both knees down. The ball was out of bounds, but his body was in bounds.
Well, as soon as we get the decision from upstairs, Bob Frederick, the referee on the left of this trio here, will let us know, let all of us know.
You know, amazing thing, Gary. Ozzie Newsome, number 82, has not fumbled a ball since 1980. It's an unbelievable stat for a guy who's caught as many passes as he is. As we look at the replay booth upstairs, and they're probably right now arguing over peanut butter sandwiches, corned beef, pastrami. What are we going to do, guys? 37, I think you made a mistake. I thought he was inbounds.
Saw the name Pete Abitani of the NFL. He is here representing the NFL, but I think Dixon Holman is actually listed as the replay official.
See, both knees were in bounds.
On a review by instant replay, the play will not stand as it was called. Therefore, it will still be a second down. However, it is a completed pass.
Completed pass is the key word there.
Right.
Couldn't find that word reversal.
And it will be second down.
They only gained a yard or 2 on that one.
And Ozzie gets credit for a catch.
That's right. That's now the announcement being made to the crowd here now, and you listen to their reaction as Ozzie has moved into 9th place on the all-time list of receivers. He's on the sideline for this play. Second down and 9. Cleveland in Cincinnati territory. The Bengals 39.
Watch Bahr right here. He's outside flank. They got 3 guys to one side.
Langhorne, the motion man this time. Tennell now in at tight end. Mack searching, turns that corner. Bump down around the 31-yard line. They'll keep the clock running. Kevin Mack with a football. David Fulcher with a tackle.
Good strategy on the part of Cleveland right now. They've been running Mack up inside the first half. Now they're bouncing to the outside. Take a look right now. 81, Tennell is on 73, but the good block there is by Larry Williams, number 70. 74, Paul Farron makes the block that frees him, and Fulcher, 33, comes up and stops him. Not before he doesn't get another first down on Cincinnati's 30-yard line.
Mack flirting with the 100-yard mark, now at 98 on 14 carries with 5 minutes to play in the third quarter.
And I guarantee he'll get it on this play.
Well, so much for your guarantee, Coach. Over the middle, they get a bunch more as Brennan pulls one in at the 20. Brian Brennan to about the 19-yard line in the grasp of Carl Zander and Ray Horton.
And Bernie Kosar took a shot from the nose tackle, Tim Crumry. That's why he delivered the ball a little late, and it was sidearm. You can see Kosar right now.
He's limping just a little bit. He's a little ginger right now.
Take a look at it right now as we watch Kosar in the pocket. Look at 69 coming around. 57 is Reggie Williams, and there's the shot right there.
Crumry gave him a pop, all right.
57, Reggie Williams was on a stunt, and that freed Crumry, as you see, 69 taking a shot. That's why quarterbacks get all the money, because they deliver the ball and they take those open shots.
First down from the 19 in Bengal territory. Browns lead this one 28-10. Minor in motion to the left. Timing pattern. Touchdown, Cleveland. It's Slaughter in the end zone. It'll go into the books as an 18-yarder. Art Modell in the booth next door. Boy, they're feeling a whole lot better in Cleveland today, let me tell you. And Kosar, he's having a day. That's his 4th touchdown pass, and the 2nd to Slaughter. This one goes 18 yards.
I guarantee you, Slaughter went into the huddle, as we look at it right now, and told Bernie he could beat the corner. That's Bahr going up inside. The ball's up to the outside. Slaughter beats Billups on the line of scrimmage. If the corner and bumper run doesn't beat the receiver on the line of scrimmage, the game is over, and Slaughter clearly was open, and it was a good touch pass on the part of Kosar.
Matt Bahr continues his streak of perfections and point afters. His first duty of the '87 season. The first week he's been activated. You see a happy Slaughter and Kosar on the sideline, and the Browns once again with the big lead. Now, for the first time in his young career, Bernie Kosar has had a 4-touchdown day. He has thrown for 4, 14 of 21 for 170 yards. 2 of the 4 caught by Webster Slaughter. And the momentum that Cincinnati was trying to generate has taken a serious detour now with that series.
They came back with a touchdown, but they gave one up, so that hurt. But Kosar has thrown the ball on good down and distance situations. He's not having to make the deep throws because of the running game.
Bussey from the 4-yard line. Penalty marker down as he cracks out to the 25 and is pulled down there. Once again, a penalty, however, has been detected. And this one works, as we so frequently see on the return team, it appears. Mark Harper with the tackle on the special teams for Cleveland.
Got a holding penalty against Cincinnati. He's going to back the ball back further. They're going to be operating again from the shadow of their goalpost.
They've had tough luck with the penalties today. They've come at inopportune times, and it seems like it just so many times it's pushed them back toward their own goal line instead of toward midfield.
Well, what's happened is Cincinnati's operating on a field 75 to 85 yards long every time they have a drive. Cleveland, because of their field position, they're operating on a field about 40 to 50 yards long, so as a result, Cleveland's got more points. Cincinnati's penalties have killed them today. Mistakes.
Well, the little sunshine that we had early in the day, as you can see now, long gone. It is gray, it is dank and cold here along the shores of Lake Erie, as Frederick will give us the call.
Pass from
Kicking team was offside, and that penalty will be refused. Receiving team, number 93, illegal use of the hands, blocked above the waist.
I think he's got a teleprompter out there. He's not reading it very well, is he?
Kiki Diayala, number 93 on the receiving team, and number 78 that was offside was Hairston on the kickoff for the Browns.
Looking at a 93-yard drive right now, Gary. He's got to come up with a big throw on first down.
Baker has come in now as a 4th down lineman. Bad to the bone. You see the folks down there in the dog pound. They've at least gotten them to cease throwing the dog biscuits and the paraphernalia on the field that was featured early in the season in their exuberance and enthusiasm. They've been trying to power on to a very big win here and try to break out of a tie in the AFC Central. Remember now, Houston losing today, and Pittsburgh, the third team that is in this tie, playing the later game. Well, we've still got a conference going on. And an official timeout.
Come on, guys, let's get it together.
Getting cold. 35-10 is our score. You can see how the folks are bundled up against the elements. Now, of course, these are the regulars here at Cleveland. Us Californians that come in, this is cold to us, but this isn't really cold for Cleveland, is it, Coach?
This is the Midwest. Played in grass and dirt and grime right outside Lake Erie. This is where football was born and be made, not to be played in synthetically inside under control, 70-degree temperature with people with lounging chairs.
Well, look at this. New England now 42-6 over the Jets, and Miami has opened up an 18-point cushion on Philly. Buffalo, Indianapolis, still no change there. The Bills defense doing a number on the Colts. Washington breezing against Dallas, and oh, how the Cowboys have struggled. Houston has closed the gap a bit on New Orleans in the third quarter.
After review by instant replay, play will stand as called, and it will be first down and 10.
Okay. As called, first down and 10. Ball at the 8-yard line. Cincinnati in their own territory. Esiason with one touchdown pass today. It was a 54-yard beauty in the third quarter to open the second half to Mike Martin. Noise level building here in Cleveland, urging the Browns defense. Here comes the big rush. Esiason with time, but a ball that may have been tipped. I'm not sure. It took a peculiar trajectory.
He heard his throw. He was trying to get the ball to Larry Kinnebrew, but he was getting pressured, and he felt the fact that he was in his end zone. So in that situation, you got to get rid of the ball a lot quicker.
Down to 3.5 minutes to go, third quarter.
Watch Carl Harrison, 78. You got two men blocking him. You got the center, Dave Remington, and you got 75, the left guard, Bruce Reimers.
Jennings in motion. Boomer with a little pump fake, sidearms it out and completes the ball to the 15. No, it was knocked away. It was intended for Jennings. Boomer did a good job of just trying to elude the grasp and get the pass off, but as it turned out, that was one of those dangerous passes.
Yeah, Cincinnati's out of sync right now. They're backed up in the hole. Take a look right now. Remember the in the grasp rule now. He's going to step up in the pocket, right there. He pulls it down. Now he's almost in the grasp, but remember, by Bob Golick, 79, it's in the grasp, under control, and that's the rule. Bob Golick, 79, was not under control, so it wasn't a sack.
You see the down and distance and what the Bengals have done thus far. 3 for 8 in that category on third down. Cleveland showing the blitz. Movement in the line. Boomer steps up and fires it out here, completes the pass at the 30-yard line, and pulling it in is Eddie Brown.
And I'll tell you what, Gary, that was a big play by Boomer, but a bigger play by his receiver, 81, Eddie Brown. Boomer stepped up in the pocket and threw for first down, because had they had to punt from the end zone, they would have been in deep trouble.
22 yards on the pickup. We haven't heard much of Eddie Brown thus far in this ball game today. Came in with 35 receptions, and that was his first of the afternoon.
He's a better receiver when Chris Collinsworth is on the other side.
Remember, Collinsworth is sidelined with a bad ankle that he suffered last week. Good protection this time for Boomer, who wants to go deep. Streaking on the sidelines and making the catch is McGee. Boy, when you give Esiason time, whoa, look out.
Well, they were in a double zone over there with Minifield up tight and Felix Wright in behind him, and he threw the ball over Minifield in front of Wright, and Felix Wright, the safety, has got to make that play. But it was a great throw. But it's the safety's play on a double zone like that.
45 yards on that pickup for McGee, who played his high school ball here in Cleveland. That gives all those rooters we were talking about that he has in the stand something to get excited about here today. 3 receptions for big numbers, 77 yards.
Interesting right now, Boomer's going to have the big numbers, but it doesn't show up on the scoreboard.
They have 10 points to show for it thus far, and they trail by 25. It's 35-10 with 2:45 to play third quarter. Cincinnati in Cleveland territory. This is Jennings trying to dart into an opening in the middle of the line and gets a couple of yards before Clay Matthews is there to make the tackle.
Forget about the running game. They got to throw the ball on 4 downs.
We're going to New York now to check other activity on this very significant day with Bob Costas.
Dan Marino's having a good day in Philadelphia. He's thrown for 3 touchdowns, 1 to Mark Duper, 2 to this man, Mark Clayton, and the Dolphins lead the Eagles late in the 3rd quarter, 28-10. If that holds up, and if Buffalo maintains their lead over the Colts, there'll be a 3-way tie atop the AFC East.
Well, everybody trying to stay in it. All these ties that we've had almost every week has really made it interesting. The Bengals trying to generate some momentum. Nice pop there after Stanford Jennings made the reception. Over on the corner, Chris Rockins with a good hit, number 37.
Yeah, that was an outstanding hit because Jennings would have turned that up and definitely would have got a 1st down. Now Cincinnati's got to go for it on 3rd down. Again, the clock will be moving. They will not kick a field goal. If they don't make it on 3rd down, they're going to go at it for 2 shots. So look possibly for a play-action pass here for a surprise, and then go for it on 4th down.
3rd down, about a yard, yard and a half needed. The ball just short of the 16-yard line. Wide to the near side is McGee. Brown split wide right. On the ground, it's Kinnebrew. Close to 1st down yardage, but I don't know. They stand him up a little short of the 15.
Well, the key is I don't think he made it, but by the same token, the clock is running. Right now, they needed to get in there before the 4th quarter started, because if they can get a touchdown, it's 35-17. Still got 15 minutes left to play. But they've got to pick up this 4th down, 1st down right now. They got to make the yardage. It's going to be less than a yard for Cincinnati.
And you can see we're inside the final minute now of the 3rd quarter, and the spot actually puts the ball at the 16, so he gained nothing.
He actually lost yardage, possibly.
They weren't even close, so here comes a big call now.
If they stop him here, this game virtually could be over. They've got to score on this drive.
80,000 Cleveland fans roaring for the defense to do the stopping. The Bengals put Jennings in motion. Esiason with time completes it over the middle to Eric Caddis. Caddis struggling at the 1-yard line. He was very close to the goal line, and a good play right over the middle to Eric Caddis.
Gutsy call on the part of Sam Weiss and Boomer Esiason, the quarterback. Take a look at Caddis now. He's a tight end, and he's going to go in the middle. Now it's 36 in motion. Caddis is on the top of your screen, number 84. Now Boomer's waiting. Then he lays the ball to the inside. Now he's being hit right there by Felix Wright. Almost gets into the end zone, and it's a end of the quarter, 1st and goal on the 2-yard line for Cincinnati.
So at the end of the 3rd quarter, it is Cleveland 35, the Cincinnati Bengals 10. We invite you to stick with us. We'll be right back after these messages from your local station. Along with Sam Rutigliano, I'm Gary Gerald. Happy to have you with us here in Cleveland today. The Bengals trailing 35-10, but threatening now from the 1-yard line. There's Kinnebrew, and the Brewmaster looks like he's stacked up at the goal line. Did he get it or did he not get it?
They signal a touchdown.
Touchdown has been signaled. There we see Breech running on. I wasn't sure for a moment whether or not he got in. But indeed, they do have the touchdown, and Kinnebrew heads for the sidelines. Touchdown number 6 this season for the big man. Looking at a conversion attempt coming up here for Jim Breech now. 35-16, looking for the 17th point of the afternoon, trying to keep hopes alive on this, the 1st play of the 4th quarter.
Well, that 1 touchdown pass to Slaughter took a lot of starch out of Cincinnati, because, you know, right now it could be 28-17. They'd be back in the ballgame. Got to play good defense on this initial drive.
9 plays, 92 yards. The conversion by Breech good. It's now 35-17. Cleveland still in command. Last week, when Cleveland scored only 7 points in the 9-7 loss to Indianapolis, it was their lowest point production since 1985. Today, they have put 35 points on the board, and Kinnebrew going the yard here for Cincinnati's most recent score, their 2nd touchdown along with a Breech field goal. And now Breech to kick off. Glenn Young standing back at about the 10-yard line. This is a very short kick, going to be fielded at about the 27 and down right there. No opportunity for a run back, just short of the 30-yard line.
Tim Manoa, number 42, fielded the ball. It was a short kick, but then he dropped it, and they got the ball on the 32-yard line.
Leo Barker was down there with the coverage. We'll take a look at the touchdown run of Kinnebrew.
Watch Kinnebrew right now. He's got to get a good block by his tight end. Good block by 36 Jennings on Rockins. Then Kinnebrew just used sheer power to get into the end zone.
Good look also at how he was protecting the ball with both arms as he got into the end zone. Caps it off with a little spike. So from the 29, Cleveland now with the football, leading 35-17, just underway in the fourth quarter.
Big series for Cincinnati's defense.
Kosar with a pitch outside to Mack. Mack waiting, looking for the hole to open up. Gets maybe a yard before he's bumped out of bounds. He had the whole defensive unit led by Joe Kelly coming over there. We'll take a look at the 10-minute ticker once again now. Keep you posted on all these significant games. Look at New England and what they're doing to the New York Jets today. My, oh my.
AFC East could very well go into a three-way tie at the end of the day if Buffalo holds on to that lead.
Buffalo beating Indianapolis. Jets winning big. Miami winning. New Orleans still over Houston, another significant game.
And remember, Pittsburgh plays the 4 o'clock game at San Diego, and they're tied with Cleveland.
All kinds of interesting implications. Just 2 weeks in the regular season after today. On the 30-yard line, Ozzie Newsome, who's caught some balls in the first half today in motion. Kosar throwing, making the catch over there on his knees was Bahr, and Bahr struggling ahead for a yard, and that's about all. Ray Horton with the coverage over there.
Well, Bahr gets a lot of isolated one-on-ones. Very few backs could play as a flanker, as Ernest Bahr does, because he always draws the strong safety, and he can outmaneuver that guy, and he has excellent hands. Ernest Bahr has the hands of a receiver.
Last year, he missed virtually most of the season, an ankle injury and surgery, and of course, the year before, he had a big year, rushed for 1,000 yards. He has been a valuable cog in Cleveland's record thus far this season.
Third down, big play for the Browns and for the Bengals.
5-man rush. Kosar over the middle, completes it to Bahr across midfield, still on his feet down to the 42-yard line.
And again, he got isolated on David Fulcher, the strong safety, and Bernie had the time to get the ball to him. Anytime you run a crossing pattern and you got a one-on-one, if your quarterback has the time, it's going to come up with a big play.
Jackson finally pulled him down, but not before he gained 23 yards.
Key was 3rd down and 5, and now Cleveland not only has the ball, but they're in excellent field position.
Well, the Cincinnati defense has had opportunities, but they haven't been able to come up with the sequence to stop the Browns and get the football back. From the 42 in Bengal territory, Bahr in motion. Hand off to Mack. Mack working the left side of the 37-yard line, possibly. Tim Crumroy again in there.
13 minutes to go now. You know, run the ball on 1st down, run the ball on 3rd down, keep the clock going. They're in excellent field position right now. The biggest problem Cincinnati has right now is they can't stop the Browns running or passing game, and obviously the clock is the killer for Cincinnati.
See the numbers for Mack. 17 carries now, 103 yards, 1 rushing touchdown. He caught a touchdown pass as well of a couple of yards from Kosar. Kosar has thrown for 4 scores in this one today. Esiason has 1 touchdown pass, and Kinnebrew added the Bengals' 2nd score just a few minutes ago. Inside the 40 in Cincinnati territory, Cleveland with the football. Bahr again is split left with Brennan. Slaughter is to the right side. Now Brennan in motion. Mack picking the hole. That's a couple of yards to about the 35, muscled back to the 36-yard line, and the Bengals trying to get the football, and now we got Kelly going at it with somebody here.
Kelly and Ernest Bahr are in the fight. What's going to happen right now, there's going to be unsportsmanlike conduct on the offense, on the defense, and they're going to have 3rd down.
Take a look at it here now.
Take a look at Bernie as he's going to hand the ball off on a off-tackle play. Now, Mack is looking for the hole, Bahr is obviously blocking on 58, right at the bottom of your screen.
Face mask, number 44 of the offense.
Face mask, number 44 of the offense. Now, that's a new one. Face mask.
There he grabs, he's going
grabbed
for
it because
right
they
there.
were fighting.
Yeah.
Well, what happened there is they got the last guy. And usually the last guy that gives the blow is the guy that gets caught, and the team is penalized as a result. As we look at Joe Kelly, inside linebacker, #1 draft choice from the University of Washington for Cincinnati.
Oh, he's been a good one, too.
Hey, take a look right now. See, that's really not a face mask. That's a takedown.
Well, they were tussling there for a while, and we just kind of stood back and watched it. Ball moved back to the 49-yard line.
after the down number 2 was over. Therefore, it is third down.
Okay, third down. Bob Frederick says 12:04 to go. Cleveland leading 35-17. Bengals obviously need the football.
They've been very successful running crossing patterns today, because what they're doing, they're getting isolated on Cincinnati safeties and linebackers with people that can beat that one-on-one matchup.
4 wide receivers as Langhorne, Slaughter, Weathers, and Young are all in now for Cleveland. Third down for Kosar. Cincinnati showing blitz, 5-man rush. They pick it up, and Bernie wants to go deep. Slaughter, no chance. Almost picked off back there by Fulcher. He went all the way back to the 8-yard line, and there was really no opportunity for Slaughter to get close to the football. Just a question of whether or not David Fulcher could hang on to it.
And Fulcher should have made that play. He's had 3 interceptions. He's got 3 sacks, and the ball was right there for him, and he might have gotten a decent return, because right now with Cincinnati, with Cleveland punting, Cincinnati may find themselves in the hole.
Martin back in the deep spot now for the Bengals. Lee Johnson, who equaled a career record with a 66-yarder earlier out of his end zone, and what a big punt that one was, is on now, standing back at his own 35-yard line. See if the Bengals come after him here. Gets this one off. Not as pretty as the last one. Fair catch being called at the 13-yard line by Martin. 11:34 to play here in Cleveland. Cincinnati goes to work, trailing 35-17 after we take this break. Stay with us. Now, you saw Santa on the sidelines. This particular Santa has been here the last 5 years for a Browns game, and the Browns have had a victory every time the bearded one patrolled the sidelines. And today, they're leading 35-17. Cincinnati now having to go to work as Boomer Esiason will try to get his club back in it. Firing, overthrowing the intended receiver at the 35-yard line was Tim McGee.
Boomer's ball sailed. He was going to McGee, had good tight coverage by Hanford Dixon, and usually when your ball sails like that, you got too much pressure on your back foot, and Boomer does that a lot.
Miami by 18 still. New England with a big day. Buffalo holding Indianapolis to just 3 points through the first 3 quarters. Other activity today, Minnesota and their playoff hopes getting a jolt here as Green Bay has gone on top now. The Vikings 16-10.
Vikings are figuring to be that second wild card in the NFC.
2nd and 10 now for Esiason and the Bengals. Jennings, the lone setback. Boomer completes the pass. Caddis, the tight end, at the 21-yard line, and finally going to be dragged down. Chris Rockins was over there, and Mike Johnson.
One of the things that really impresses me about the defensive secondary of Cleveland, they remind me of Pittsburgh in '78 and '79. They're great tacklers. You know, people catch balls and guys are right there to tackle them, and they really don't get that extra yardage. And it's kind of a hidden compliment of the defensive secondary. They're really great, sure, tough tacklers.
They have given up through the first 12 games of this season an average of 15.4 points a game, and they've surrendered 17 to the Bengals thus far in this one with 10:42 to go. Jennings trying to work outside to the left, churning into some real loose turf over there, and pulled down by Johnson.
Going to be tight, Gary. They're going to probably have to measure. He might have made it, but again, there was a good flow. He's got it. There was a good flow of people going to the ball. You know, one of the great things you look for defense is a very simple term. People staying on their feet and going to the ball. You always see 3, 4, 5 orange helmets around the ball. Take a look at 36 Jennings right now. He's got to get the first down. Now he's following Kinnebrew. He gets a good block. Now he bounces out to the outside. Now watch the first contact by Golick right there. Now watch the ricochets. It's like a machine gun. There's one right there, and here comes a bunch of other orange helmets right on the ball.
Well, he got the first down. 9:50 to go. Bengals need more than first downs right now, however. Here's the pass out here, tipped away by Martin. Spectacular defensive coverage by Frank Minifield. Those defenders back there in the secondary kind of licking their chops, I would imagine, because they know they're going to get a workout, as well as the down linemen are saying, we'll just lay our ears back and go after that quarterback now.
Well, this is the time of the game. Take a look at Martin right now on Minifield. He's going to the outside. Now watch, he leans into him, but the ball's not up. You see, the ball is there too late. Had had Esiason deliver the ball when Martin, 88, came out of his break, it wouldn't have given Minifield the opportunity to recover. And that's the difference between the reception, timing by the quarterback and the receiver. The ball should have been up in the air quicker.
And it looked like that one sailed just a little bit once again, as a couple of others have today for Boomer. The lefty backpedaling, setting up, this time going down the left side deep. Oh, spectacular catch at the 36-yard line by Tim McGee. Hanford Dixon back there with the coverage. McGee stretching out on the sideline, and boy, that was a super individual effort.
Well, you couldn't have covered it better than Hanford Dixon. Take a look at Boomer right now. He's looking to the right. Now he's going to go back to McGee. Now let's watch 29 and 85. 85 now, watch both feet. One, right foot. See, the fact that he fell to the ground made it an inbounds pass. Had he taken a step with his left foot, it would have been out of bounds. Great throw by Boomer. Outstanding catch by Tim McGee, because Hanford Dixon covered it as well as you can.
That was for 40 yards. McGee has made a pair of big gainers here in this second half. There's Kinnebrew. Penalty markers everywhere. Kinnebrew breaking a couple of tackles to the 29.
36, Stanford Jennings was offside.
You see the illegal motion indication here from Frederick. Felix Wright made the tackle that time. 190 pounds against Kinnebrew's 260.
And it's the same thing now. It's less than 10 minutes to go. They're going to have a 1st and 15 as opposed to a 2nd down and 2.
The illegal motion, number 36 on the offense. First down will be replayed.
Ball moved back now to the 41-yard line.
And,
Jennings in the backfield.
They came into this game with a lot of penalties. You know, there's a lot of things that hurt Cincinnati in this game, but penalties loom and mistakes really hurt drives. Like right now, rather than have a 2nd and 2, they got to throw on a 1st and 15. But you know, this thing's not over yet. There's plenty of time left.
It's the 5th time this year that Esiason has been over 300 yards. This one out to Kinnebrew. He gets a head of steam, and he gets a first down as he gets inside the 25 and down actually to about the 21-yard line. Eddie Johnson banging him out of bounds.
Well, Cleveland came with a blitz, but the good thing about it was Esiason was laying the ball off to Kinnebrew in the flat right away, so the blitz didn't bother him. He was able to get the ball to Kinnebrew. Take a look at right now. Look at the screen to your left. Here comes Mike Johnson, 59, but he's got a chance to lay it off to Kinnebrew, and he's going to get turned upfield. Good block by 85 McGee, and Eddie Johnson, 51, makes the play.
18 yards in the pickup for the first down. 9:07 to play in the ball game. You see the score, 35-17. Bengals battling desperately. A lot of pride on the line in this one. And of course the speculation about the job security for head coach Sam White. Here's Esiason to the far sideline. Martin doing the little number with the feet to pull that one in the vicinity of the 14-yard line. Minifield again with the coverage. And now Boomer utilizing the clock well, as we're still just over 9 minutes to go.
Tough coverage because Martin's going across in motion and Minifield has to chase him. So as a result, when Martin breaks to the outside, Frank Minifield, 31, is behind him. It's a well-designed motion play, then get him out into the flat, and it's tough for the corner as he has to chase him across the entire formation.
Esiason this year had a 425-yard game against, well, that was last year against the New York Jets. We mentioned that he's had 4 over 300 this year. Has put up some big numbers. Today now working on the ground in this particular play to the 10-yard line. His back being rolled back.
He was not on the ground.
Coming out of there with a football for the Browns. That was Eddie Johnson, who had his hands on it. See Remington slowly getting up, who was trying to lead the surge there in the offensive line.
Watch the first hit on Kinnebrew, and then all the other orange helmets joined. Kinnebrew is going to the left in the bottom of the screen. Now watch right now. There's the hit right there.
Ooh.
By 59, but Eddie Johnson, 51. He's not a big guy, but he's a big hitter.
Yeah, that ball looked like it popped loose. May have well been after the whistle. No replay, no second look. Ball at the 10-yard line. Bengals need everything they can muster right now. Protection, little pump fake, going to the end zone, no opportunity. Penalty marker down. This one, I believe, is going to be called on Hanford Dixon.
Dixon on 88, Mike Martin in the end zone. The ball goes to the 1-yard line. He beat him to the flag, and rather have him beat for touchdown, he held him, and so that they could just get the penalty and have a chance.
Defensive holding, number 29, and it will be first down.
So this one will move the ball down ever closer to the goal line. The clock stopped at 8:12 to go. 35-17 Cleveland as we look at Esiason.
Gary, if they get this play in, they're only 2 scores away from putting this thing in overtime.
Ball at the 6-yard line. And a first down after the penalty.
Not in overtime, winning the game.
Esiason to the near sideline, caught by Caddis, but he gets only a couple of yards. They'll keep the clock running.
I got to check my arithmetic. They need 3 scores, but that's another dangerous throw. That's the exact same throw to Caddis that he threw to Holman that Clay Matthews intercepted.
Right.
See, you can't throw that pass late because you hang the ball right on the sideline, and it gives the linebacker or the guy covering an opportunity to recover and make the play on the ball.
Kinnebrew, the lone setback. Anthony Munoz is over on the right side as a tight end. He has caught 4 touchdowns in his career, and he's in motion. They're looking for him. No good. Munoz set up over on the right side and went in motion to the left. He caught a touchdown pass earlier this year, the 4th in his career, and that one wasn't that close.
Well, you got Munoz moving in motion. Take a look at Munoz, 78 right now, and he's getting some pressure. Right there, see, the pressure is by Matthews, number 57, which causes the errant throw. But you don't take a tackle and put him in motion in a play like that. If you keep him still, it's a lot different. Take a look at Matthews, who's having a great game. Had the great interception and lateral to his buddy, Carl Hairston. 3rd down and goal, ball just inside the 3. Cincinnati threatening, and they need it badly. 35-17, they trail. Kinnebrew straight ahead, leaning, gets close to the goal line. He did not score, but he was close to the plane. It's going to be 4th and goal. The problem with this drive, Gary, it's taking too much time. You know, it was 8 minutes just a few seconds ago. Now it's taking a lot of time. They got to get a bunch of scores, and they can't afford to have wasted all this time. And, of course, now they're 4th down. They've got to go for it.
Now they're down to 7:03. Now at the 7-minute mark. A lot of noise being generated right down there in the bleacher section of the dog pound in Cleveland. Bengals staring right into it with 4th down. Kinnebrew, did he get in? Yes, he did. The second effort on the lean as he spun inside ended up doing it. He was hit initially. It looked like a little bit short, but he got in there, and there's the spike to cap it off. Well, the initial contact was there. They needed some other people to come to try to stop him from surging into the end zone as we take a look at it. Then look at the second surge right now. Here's the first pop right here. Boom. He's held up right there. Now someone has to come in from the other side, and they can't make the play. See, it's the second surge that caused the touchdown. It was a great effort by Kinnebrew. 12 plays, 87 yards, but the clock a factor at 6:45 to go as Breech is on for the conversion attempt. A lot of points have been scored already today, 58 thus far, and now you can make it 59, and it is a 35-24 Cleveland advantage with 6:45 left to go. Well, the Bengals still have a flicker of hope in life. It's up to their defense now as they go to work in a moment. You see the numbers on the scoring drive. Kinnebrew capping it off with the final yard, and look at this configuration on the kick here now as the Bengals with 6:45 to go, down 11, want the football. They fake the onside, loft it down in the middle. Bahr makes an over-the-shoulder catch at the 22 and slides down at the 25-yard line. The reason they did that, Gary, is to fake the onside kick so Cleveland would not have a return. It was too early to kick the onside kick, and now Cleveland's operating from inside the 25-yard line, and of course Cincinnati's got to make them go 3 downs and punt. So it'll be up to their defense as we check the ticker once again. Buffalo pouring it on against Indianapolis. The interesting implications of this one now with a 20-3 lead. Indianapolis had the 1-game lead in the AFC East coming in, but Buffalo threatening to tie it up. And this is a final. Green Bay jolting the Vikings playoff hopes. New Orleans still by 14 over Houston. This is a 35-24 ball game in Cleveland with the Browns leading. Cleveland with the football, and on the ground, Mack, who's had a 100-yard rushing day. Gets nothing this time.
What Cleveland needs now is first downs. They don't need to score. They just need first downs. They need to make sure that they eat up Cincinnati's 3 timeouts with 6:22 and the clock is running. Very important for Cincinnati the next time they get the ball to go to the no-huddle offense. They don't want to use their timeouts right now. They want to go to the no-huddle offense, hope to get another drive together and get this thing at 35-21.
Skip McClendon, the rookie out of Arizona State, made that last tackle. You see Esiason and White's plotting strategy if the Bengals can get the ball back. We're at the 6-minute mark exactly now. Pressure, a lot of them coming on Kosar. He loses the football. Now, was he in the grasp? The Bengals are headed for the end zone, but they're going to bring it back. Carl Zander had the football. You could hear the whistle even up here in the booth.
Would you believe that play? It would have been 35-31. Wow. What a big play. Must have been in the grasp. Boy, they dodged the bullet right there. With 5:45 to go, 35-21. Wow.
They had 6, maybe even 7 men coming that time.
Incomplete pass. There was a forward motion starting, and then when the ball was hit.
It's even worse. It wasn't even a sack. Take a look at it right now. If his arm is moving forward, that's an incompleted pass. You see, his arm is moving forward. He actually catches, and that is very, very close. But the fact that his arm was moving forward made it an incompleted pass.
Carl Zander was the man who got in there, and he also ended up with a football, but to no avail. So it's 3rd down.
They got a pressure.
6-man rush. Protection. Looking deep. Slaughter. Pulled down at the 30-yard line. Kosar delivers again when the pressure was on.
And that's the biggest play of this quarter. 43 yards. Webster was on Phillips again, and Webster Slaughter has owned Lewis Phillips, the right corner of Cincinnati, all day long. Now take a look at Bernie right now. He gets it up fast, and it's a great throw. Good catch, but an outstanding throw. They were coming with the blitz. There was no safeties inside to try to help them, and that really hurts Cincinnati right now. Watch Kosar. See, he sees it right away, and what he does is get rid of the ball, throw it in the middle, and give Slaughter an opportunity to run underneath it.
Did you see he was clapping his hands as soon as he released the ball, Sam? He knew that he had something going on that one.
Big play. Big, big play.
He was clapping before Slaughter caught it. Slaughter's had a day, too. From the 31-yard line. Actually, we'll call it the 30. Here's Mack. They go back on the ground, and Mack picks up 5 to the 25-yard line. 4:40 to go in the ball game. Well, the excitement continues here and elsewhere around the league as we check in with Bob Costas in New York.
Well, the Vikings were looking to wrap up a wild card spot. It didn't happen at County Stadium in Milwaukee. The game is tied. Just over a minute left on a 3rd and goal play. Kenneth Davis takes the handoff and goes in from 7 yards out. They missed the kick, but the Pack didn't care. They upset the Vikings 16-10.
All right. Big day for the Green Bay Packers. Tough day for the Vikes. Webster Slaughter has caught 5 balls for 119 yards in this one and 2 touchdowns. And the Browns still in command here as they go back to work on the ground close to the 20-yard line with Mack just pounding away in there. And we're down inside the 4-minute mark now at 3:50 to go.
What a difference a play makes. The previous play, it could have been a fumble. Cincinnati could have scored, but, you know, coulda, woulda, shouldas don't win games. You know, ifs and buts were candy and nuts. Christmas every day.
Well, Christmas is around the corner, but it may be tough for the Cincinnati Bengals this holiday season.
Cincinnati's going to have to come up right now. If they make the first down, they're going to have to start using their timeouts.
Let's check the schedule coming up. This is the final home game today for the Browns, and you see that they have the first down. Cleveland has 2 remaining games, and they're both going to be on the road. They've got the Raiders in Los Angeles next week, and then they've got Pittsburgh. And Pittsburgh, of course, has a later game, a big one today. Raiders playing later also against Kansas City, and Pittsburgh going against San Diego. So 2 big games coming up for the Browns, but both away from home. And those playoff implications, they're just all sorts of them.
Well, they need to win this game and then sit comfortably at 4 o'clock and watch the other 2, because they're going to be in first place one way or the other.
First down from the 20-yard line for Cleveland, leading 35-24 against their interstate rival Cincinnati. This is Mack. Well, you called it early today, Coach. You said we were going back to 50 style of football. The running game would be stressed here today, and Mack with over 100 yards picks up about 3 or 4 more before Fulcher could knock him down, and we're down to the last 3 minutes of this ball game.
Cincinnati needs to use their timeouts. The ball carriers on Cleveland will make sure they hold the ball with both hands, make sure they stay in bounds, but Cincinnati needs to use those timeouts. They got 3 timeouts and a 2-minute warning. They're letting a lot of valuable time go by the wayside. But the big play to Webster Slaughter was the big one in this quarter, because Cincinnati had some breath. They had a chance.
Seen how that running game can complement the aerial game, because Kosar has put up 4 touchdown passes, a couple of them with Slaughter. On the ground again, Mack just bulldozing his way to the 11-yard line before they can drag him down, and that of course keeps that clock running. Down to 2:17. Crumry with the tackle. Tim Manoa leading the way that time as the blocking back for Kevin Mack. Now with 2:12 to go, a timeout has been taken by Cincinnati.
Well, they took a long time in making that decision, but right now Cleveland will run the ball. They have an opportunity to get another first down and just keep the clock going so that they can bleed it, and then eventually just kick a field goal, and they'll be up 38-24.
Well, after 2 weeks of frustration for the Browns, they've bounced back impressively today. They lead this one 35-24, and that pass to Webster Slaughter for more than 40 yards was a big one here, wasn't it, Coach?
When you talk about big, you know, Bernie did a great job getting the ball up. Cincinnati was gambling. They blitzed everybody right off the sideline, and of course Slaughter came up with a big play, and he's having an MVP game with 5 receptions.
Browns working from the 10-yard line now. Over the top, getting the first down on 3rd and short yardage. Once again, Mr. Mack. That one just about solidly ices things as far as Cleveland is concerned. Jackson made the tackle but had no opportunity to pull him down. We've reached the 2-minute warning. Cleveland with the football, and more significantly, an 11-point lead.
Well, they've just about sealed their doom, Gary, with another first down, less than 2 minutes to play, and Cincinnati's got 2 timeouts, and frankly right now it looks like you know, they're just going to keep bleeding that clock.
Well, it's time for the Most Valuable Player Award, sponsored by Budweiser, and today we're going to salute 3 of the Browns as MVPs. Webster Slaughter is 1, 5 passes, 119 yards, 2 touchdowns. Kevin Mack is going to be our second co-recipient, 24 carries, 128 yards, 3 pass receptions for 19 yards. And Bernie Kosar, we can't ignore him. What a day he's had with a career-high 4 touchdown passes, 17 out of 26. Budweiser will make a contribution to the United Way on behalf of all the MVPs selected in today's game. 77,331, the official onboard attendance here at Cleveland Stadium today, and they're going to be going home happy after 2 weeks of frustration with the loss in San Francisco and the loss here last week against Indianapolis. They have bounced back impressively today. They threaten again against the Bengals. Mack, who else? Not much working this time. Trying the middle. Bengals taking the timeout, stopping the clock at 1:56. Hammerstein was in there on the tackle. So, about all in question now, the final score. With less than 2 minutes to go, Cleveland leading 35-24. We check the Browns report card reflected in our co-MVPs. Kosar, career-high 4 TDs. Mack, 129 yards, 2 TDs. Slaughter has caught for 119 yards. Newsom extended his streak to 125 games. And the Browns go to work now from the 8-yard line. Mack again trying to pop out to the left. Pulled down at the 7-yard line. Robert Jackson with the tackle, and again the timeout is taken. That will stop the clock.
That's a lot more difficult than it looked for a guy like Bobby Jackson, to make that play on Mack in open field. He's a big, strong back that bounces off people. You know, the thing that I like about Mack, as we take a look at Cincinnati's report card, is he gets a lot of yardage after he takes tacklers on.
Look at the average field position at the start of the drive. They started their own at the 23, and the opponent started at the 40-yard line.
Well, you remember that report that we had. They had a possession on their own 30, they scored a touchdown. They had a possession on their own 47, they scored a touchdown. They had a possession on their own 20 after the interception by Matthews, they scored another touchdown. In that period, they scored 4 out of 4 times. Then the half ended, they just, you know, threw one up for grabs.
Well, NBC Sports presents a Saturday football special coming up this next week. The Denver Broncos, of course, they're figuring in the playoff hunt with John Elway, and they cannot overlook the Kansas City Chiefs. It'll be an AFC West battle next Saturday, beginning with NFL Live at 3:30 Eastern here on NBC Sports.
And later today, the Raiders play Kansas City, and the Browns will be going out to L.A. to play the Raiders, and they've really had a lot of difficult luck, and I started that streak. Very difficult to beat the Raiders.
And, of course, last year they broke a streak. They finally won in Pittsburgh, which is going to be their final game this year at Pittsburgh. Cleveland on the ground. Mack, second man through, gets to maybe the 4-yard line. In the vicinity of the 5, and you see now the clock counting down. The Bengals have run out of timeouts, have no further opportunity to stop the clock in this one.
Well, it's right now, it's either to kick a field goal, which I think would be good because Matt Bahr needs to get into the groove. He's kicked extra points, but he hasn't kicked any field goals. And I think Marty should do that to get Matt Bahr in the groove. He hasn't kicked a field goal in a year.
That's right. He came off the physically unable to perform list earlier this week, and the welcome back signs are out here in Cleveland from Matt Bahr, the veteran, who, if he gets a field goal here, would be his 100th in a Cleveland Browns uniform.
And, of course, they're letting the clock run down.
Down to the 1-minute mark right now. Bahr has come on, as has his holder, Mike Pagel.
They're going to take a penalty, get a 5-yard penalty, which was very smart because now there's only less than a minute to go. Kick the field goal, and Cincinnati is going to go home this year, having lost to the Browns twice with a record of 4-9.
And you have to wonder what's going to happen as far as that coaching situation is concerned. How much of the responsibility will be heaped on Sam Weich's shoulders? Tough spot to be in. You've been there, Coach.
Take it from me. All. The sombrero is his, no one else's.
Well, here's Bahr now for the field goal attempt. 27-yarder is on the way. It's good. So the kicking game is back in Cleveland, and the Browns rolling along, lead at 38-24 with 52 seconds to go, and you see his 100th field goal in a Browns uniform.
Well, the Browns cut Winslow, their punter, and Johnson came in today and did a good job. The Browns moved Jaeger on the move list and brought Matt Bahr, the veteran, back because they want him in a stretch run for field goals, and he kicked a field goal and 5 extra points today. So the field goal kicker and the punter can be very important as they go for 2 weeks away playing the Raiders in L.A. and Pittsburgh, and they're going to have to win those two, not only to win the division, but maybe get that home court advantage.
Well, we'll be returning to the basketball court when a couple of teams that are rich in basketball history meet on January 2nd. Dean Smith travels his North Carolina Tar Heels to Pauley Pavilion. They'll be taking on Pooh Richardson and the defending Pac-10 champion UCLA Bruins. That's coming up January 2nd when we bring you all the action at 4 o'clock Eastern on NBC Sports. We have a quick moment to thank our folks up here in the booth today, John Betchko and Pete Halbin, who've handled the spotting chores. We thank you, gentlemen. Dave Montgomery, our stats man, this Battle of Ohio. And as we mentioned coming in today, this is the 35th time these teams had met, and the series was dead even at 17 wins apiece. And now the Browns have tacked up number 18. It's all but official. Across the way in the booth where Paul Brune was seated. That's his son Mike, I believe, on the left there.
That's right.
Paul's gone back inside. That may be him coming out now, pondering the future of the Bengals, who had such a great season last year, but such disappointment this year. Short kick by the Bengals being brought up by Eric Caddis at the 40-yard line, pulled down. Not much that Boomer and company can do at this point as they try to generate anything they can in this remaining 48 seconds after Griggs made the tackle on Caddis. Executive producer of NBC Sports, Michael Weissman. The coordinating producer of NBC's football is Ted Nathanson. Coordinating producer of NFL Live is John J. Filippelli. Today's game here in Cleveland produced by Les Dennis, directed by Ned Tate. NFL Live produced by Tom Roy, and NFL Live directed by Bucky Gunts. See the time remaining as Esiason sets up to throw on the far side and completes his pass at the 45-yard line. Being muscled out of bounds was Eric Caddis. They're going to keep the clock running, however. He did not get out of bounds on his own.
It's unbelievable that Caddis would not know enough to get out of bounds and stop the clock.
Looked like he was struggling trying to, but Dixon prevented him from doing that. Esiason under pressure, throwing it out here in the middle. Penalty marker down. Pass was incomplete. Making a dive was Tim McGee, and also in the vicinity was Caddis.
And two things stopped the clock: incompleted passes and penalties. And I think that penalty is on Cleveland.
Defensive holding, number 31. Will be a 5-yard penalty and a first down.
Frank Minifield picking up that call. Got a final on one of those other games, very significant game. Buffalo has defeated Indianapolis 27-3. And Bruce Smith with a fumble recovery in the end zone for the final score for the Bills. So a big victory today for the Bills, who are now tied for the division lead with the Colts. And the Colts get only 3 points.
And I think Miami's in there because they're beating Philadelphia. There may be a three-way tie.
2 weeks to go. Oh, that'll be interesting the next couple of weeks. Here's the push against Esiason. Boomer steps up, scrambles to the left, sidearms it out. Jennings can't hang on. Down to the last 12 seconds. Let's check all of those scores now that we have an opportunity to do that. Final, as we mentioned, Buffalo over Indianapolis. New England still way up, 22 points over the Jets. Miami in the fourth, leading by 18 still, so it looks like the Dolphins are cruising to a victory. Washington, comfortable lead over Dallas. New Orleans still making it tough on Houston, and the final earlier, Green Bay over Minnesota. Vikings playoff hopes getting a jolt. Here in Cleveland, the Browns keeping their playoff hopes alive, and maybe taking it off the respirator after a couple of tough weeks. They're on the way to their 8th victory with 12 seconds to go. Esiason again scrambling out, being chased. Fires it down here, and it's picked off on Felix Wright. Going to run out the clock, and he just says, why take the hit? This ball game is over. He comes to the near sidelines with his 4th interception of the year. 38-24 is the final in this one. The Browns go 8-5. The Bengals now go 4-9. And for Cleveland, 2 big ones ahead. Next week in Los Angeles against the Raiders, and then at Pittsburgh.
Well, they have an opportunity, Cleveland does, to control their own destiny as we take a look at Sam Weiss and Marty Schottenheimer. You know, one coach is drinking the wine and the other one's stomping the grapes. It's a great feeling to be on the side of Marty Schottenheimer, but it's tough on Sam Weiss. He's now 4-9, and his job basically is in jeopardy. He was counting on getting a big win here today. As we look at Art Modell, he's got to be a lot happier than he was in the last 2 weeks. So Weiss could have won this game. It would have been big, finish up strong, and maybe saved his job. Let's hope that he does, because I think it's a good football team. They got off to a bad start this year. Didn't score a lot, lost a lot of one-run games, and let's hope that Paul Brown gives them another opportunity next year.
Well, the final in this one is 38-24, and it's a big day for Kevin Mack, for Bernie Kosar, and for Webster Slaughter. They were 3 of the principals in a Browns defense that muscled up, an offensive line that opened up the holes, and they come up with a very significant victory after struggling, as we'd mentioned a couple of times, over the last 2 weeks. They had not been in concert, Marty Schottenheimer said. Well, today they were in concert, and they produce 35 points, and they go on to this, or 38 points with that late field goal, of course, that I overlooked there by Matt Bahr, and a very significant win.
Well, the second quarter, the Browns exploded. You know, we talked about it a great deal, but the field position that the defense gave the offense was unbelievable. You know, they gave them the ball on a 30, they scored. Yep. They gave them the ball on a 47, they scored again. Then Cincinnati had a chance to get right back in the game, and Esiason throws an errant pass. Clay does his act by intercepting it. He laterals to Hairston. And basically the game really was lost in the second quarter for Cincinnati.
That was the key one, and now you see the updated standings right here. If these scores hold, now a couple of them are not yet final, but it looks like they have established either a win or a loss. Cleveland here in the AFC Central. Houston now at 7-6, we're about to be. And of course, with 2 weeks to go, there are still a lot of wrinkles that could shake out and finally determine who is going to go to the playoffs. So the final score, Cincinnati losing this one against Cleveland, 38-24. We'll be back after these messages from your local station.